was just an accident.
My fist breaking your teeth, that's the accident.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 dealing with bully scenes in movies.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
How do you like them apples?
For this list, we're looking at the best and most memorable movie moments in which a bully gets his or her comeuppance. We will be discussing important scenes in the films in question, so here is your spoiler alert. Number 20, Fuming Fred, Dazed and Confused.
We got another one, huh, fellas? Whoa, guys. You wouldn't mind if I went first there, would you?
If you put yourself in the shoes of someone who's about to be chased down and violently beaten with a paddle, then we totally understand if you get the impulse to run.
Nice try, freshman.
But when the man wielding the paddle is Fred O'Banion, you might be well advised to take your lumps because if you defy him, there is little chance he will let it go. But these guys don't. Crafting a scheme of their own, a group of his intended prey pours paint all over him and runs off into the night, leaving Fred embarrassed and very angry.
Remember me, you pig?
It's truly epic to watch him drive over a curb and realize his car seat must be covered in paint.
Damn it!
Number 19, School Talent Show, Fist Fight. Andy should take a lesson from his daughter on how to deal with bullies. With a little help from Big Sean, Allie gets some revenge on her abuser in the form of public humiliation. The shock and discomfort on the faces of the entire audience are palpable as Allie fearlessly dedicates an impassioned, uncensored performance of an appropriately titled Big Sean track.
Trisha, this song is for you. I don't with you.
On top of the shock factor of seeing a young girl sing the explicit song, the scene also drives the plot of the movie forward, as Allie's bold actions inspire Andy to stand up to his own bully. After her jaw-dropping performance, she exits the stage to a standing ovation. Number 18, Raging Regina, Mean Girls.
Hello, may I please speak to Taylor Waddell?
She's not home yet. Who's calling?
Oh, this is Susan from Planned Parenthood. I have her test results. If you could have her give me a call as soon as she can. It's urgent. Thank you.
If you haven't had the pleasure of watching Mean Girls, you are missing out. Written by Tina Fey, it's a great film that leaves you loving its characters, even the outright awful Regina George.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
When all of the young women in this teen comedy make peace, she is the only one who can't or won't take part. This makes the audience pity her for the briefest of moments.
Oh yeah, Katie? You know my friend Katie. She made out with Regina's boyfriend and then convinced him to break up with her. Oh God, and we gave you foot cream instead of face wash.
Despite her humanity though, Regina is not at all kind and deserves to be the odd woman out.
You can take that fake apology and shove it right up your...
Being hit by a bus may be a cruel punishment, but it is also hilarious.
And that's how Regina George died. No, I'm totally kidding. But she did get hurt.
Number 17, The Other Witches, The Craft.
Bien, mesdames et messieurs, parlons-nous de l'histoire un petit peu. Le gouvernement...
Sometimes the worst bullies disguise themselves as friends. It all started out so innocently. The four witches experimented with magic and learned some spells to help them right a few wrongs in their lives. But after witnessing the heavy toll their spells take, Sarah wants to stop.
You guys are freaking me out. Oh, she's scared.
The coven refuses and turns on Sarah, sending her haunting images in her dreams. Well, Sarah fights back. Much worse than any physical or verbal retaliation, she gets inside their minds with her own powers, causing Bonnie and Rochelle to experience their worst nightmares. Mad with power, Nancy tries to kill Sarah. But the heroine sentences Nancy to the worst fate of all, binding her from ever using magic again. Number 16, Tricky Tab, Dumb and Dumber.
Kick his ass, Seabass!
When Harry and Lloyd set out on the road to return a briefcase, they don't have survival instincts or intelligence to rely on. But when they encounter a man only known as Seabass, who makes them feel small and spits in their food, the unlikely happens.
Seabass and the fellows offered to pick up our check.
Hit with what we can only assume is divine inspiration, they actually outmaneuver their adversary and trick him into unknowingly taking on their tab.
Well, if that guy at the table over there is Seabass,
It's hysterical and surprising, although things do get awkward when Lloyd runs into Seabass later.
Find a happy place.
Number 15, Jack beats up Bobby, a history of violence.
You established your alpha male standing. You've established my unworthiness.
Jack appears to be the mild-mannered type, who uses humor to avoid bad situations with bullies, and walks away rather than fight. But when Bobby and his crew refuse to let him walk away, Jack loses his sense of humor. Just as Bobby is taunting him by sarcastically saying that his father, who's been dubbed a town hero for taking down 2 robbers at his diner single-handedly, would be so proud of him, Jack clobbers them all. Bobby definitely isn't laughing now. As it turns out, Jack is a chip off the old block after all.
What the hell were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking.
Number 14, Awful Apples, Good Will Hunting.
Just history? It must have been a survey course then, huh?
Yeah, it was surveys.
Have you ever met someone who desperately wants you to know how smart they are?
I remember that class. It was just between recess and lunch.
Clark, why don't you go away?
Why don't you relax?
We have. Which is why it's so great to watch one of these pretentious pricks be absolutely schooled. A ponytail sporting douche desiring to make strangers look inferior in order to impress ladies and bystanders. This blonde bar patron proves that knowledge flaunted is knowledge wasted. Enter Will Hunting, a genius who really is the smartest guy in the room.
Wood drastically underestimates the impact of social
Wood drastically underestimates the impact of social distinctions predicated upon wealth, especially inherited wealth. You got that from Vickers. Work in Essex County, page 98, right? Yeah, I read that too. Were you gonna plagiarize the whole thing for us? Do you have any thoughts of your own on this matter?
Proving that the mind is more powerful than a pair of fists, Will swiftly puts the jerk in his place.
Do you like apples?
Yeah.
Well, I got a number. How do you like them apples?
Number 13, Naked Vengeance, Central Intelligence.
So, do I know you?
Do you know Robbie Weirdick? From high school!
Can you picture Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson getting bullied? Well, Robbie Weirdick was the victim of a pretty cruel senior prank thanks to Trevor Olson that left him naked and embarrassed in front of the entire senior class. 20 years later, Trevor is still just as big of a bully as ever. But Robbie Weirdick, now CIA agent Bob Stone, certainly has changed. And he doesn't like bullies.
Good God, you're dumb. Dumber than ever, I guess.
At their high school reunion, Bob finally gets 2 decades of pent-up revenge on his old nemesis with a simple punch to the face.
Still a scared little bitch.
I don't like bullies.
This is followed by a speech about what it means to be the true hero of your own story, and a cathartic twist on the prank Trevor pulled on him.
And it's realizing that in life, the most important thing that you can be is yourself.
Number 12, Flash Fight, Spider-Man.
Parker?
When we're introduced to Flash Thompson in the first Spider-Man film, he seemed like the type of guy who would make life difficult for many fellow students. Peter Parker, on the other hand, seemed like the type of guy that the strong-willed could walk all over with ease.
Think you're pretty funny, don't you, freak?
Flash, it was just an accident.
My fist breaking your teeth, that's the accident.
There is a hint of an inner fortitude in puny Peter, however. With the bite of a radioactive spider, the power balance is reversed. Though Peter may not have been entirely comfortable with the unfamiliar outcome, we sure were.
Peter, that was amazing.
Number 11, Sid, Toy Story.
Oh no, Sid.
Sid is vicious. Every toy in the neighborhood knows that if you get lost in Sid's yard, you never return. So when Sid gets his hands on Buzz, Woody pulls out all the stops to save him from being destroyed. In perhaps the most memorable scene in the movie, Woody teams up with Sid's misfit toys that come to life. They emerge from the sandbox and the muddy puddles in his backyard to scare the 10-year-old straight. They don't just save Buzz, they make sure Sid never hurts another toy again. Number 10. Bud beaten by Brass, 3 o'clock high.
You and me, we're gonna have a fight. Today, after school. 3 o'clock in the parking lot.
Buddy Revell is the type of person that makes you want to cross the street instead of having to walk by him.
Why don't I give you a little help?
When Jerry, a fellow student, is assigned by the school paper to question him, he arouses Buddy's ire and wins a date with his fists.
There. Now it's your turn.
Jerry's destruction is seemingly set for the end of the school day. After choosing to pay him off, Jerry receives a sincere and severe insult that inspires him to not only stand up for himself, but also challenge the beast to a fight. Aided by brass knuckles, Jerry knocks his massive adversary out and wins the day. Number 9. The Sick Stick, Kick-Ass 2.
Ghetto cell phone? Gonna call for help with a comeback? Actually.
It's hard to imagine a girl who can kill a man with his own finger feeling vulnerable. But after Brooke and her crew pretend to be Mindy's friends and then ditch her in the woods, Mindy is shaken.
Newsflash, you're not special. With the queen bee and you're gonna get stung.
Taking some advice from her Robin, Mindy beats them at their own game. These mean girls may wear a pretty popular and pristine costume, but one touch from the Sick Stick and all that ugliness they have on the inside upchucks right out. Everyone dreams about getting the ultimate revenge on a bully. Well, this scene has everything you could possibly want. An epic speech, public humiliation, and the perfect soundtrack.
I don't want to win. I just want to make the world a better place.
Number 8. Prom Pyrotechnics, Carrie.
You eat.
Carrie White is an innocent soul who has spent her life under the thumb of everyone around her, whether it's the supposed cool kids or her possessive mother.
I need your blood came in sweat and blood. Genesis 3:16.
Beset by her maturing body and dastardly peers, she's set up to feel accepted until the moment it's all pulled away from her. Fueled by telekinetic powers and an anger that only a lifetime of abuse can foster, she then unleashes hell upon Prom, and particularly those who trespassed against her. Number 7. Rock War, It.
Were you off to, tits?
When Henry Bowers and his crew of bullies are beating up on the homeschooled kid Mike, the Losers Club shows up and evens the battlefield. Just as Henry's about to bludgeon Mike with a rock, Beverly bludgeons Henry first. This action incites a full-on rock war that sends the bullies running away like a bunch of cowards. The shocked and pained look on Henry Bowers' face as the losers pummel them is the ultimate vindication. The losers are the winners here.
Go blow your dad, you mullet-wearing asshole!
Number 6. Ralphie's Revenge, A Christmas Story. A Christmas Story does a delightful job of capturing the wonder and whimsy of childhood. It isn't afraid to address the darker, colder moments of youth either, though.
Listen, jerk! When I tell you to come, you better come!
Ralphie is one of the most beloved characters in film history. So, the neighborhood bullies that frighten him and his friends make us both uncomfortable and angry. When our little man loses his cool and mercilessly pounds Scud, all the while spouting profanity, the relief we feel is incredibly powerful.
You shorten over them nipples! Bang, gunk, steak, and crisp!
Did you hear what he said?
Number 5. Gordie's Gun, Stand By Me,
You guys have two choices. You either leave quietly, we take the body, or you stay, we beat the shit out of you, and we take the body.
Kiefer Sutherland may have gone on to play one of the greatest TV heroes of all time in 24, but he plays a very different sort of character here.
This is your last chance. What do you say, kid?
Looking like evil incarnate, Ace Merrill would be terrifying even to grown men, yet he spends his time contending with a foursome of young friends.
You're gonna have to kill me, Ace.
No problem.
Young Gordie, played by nerd icon Will Wheaton, is the farthest thing from fearsome, which is why it's so satisfying when he pulls a gun and stands up for himself and his friends in this scene from the coming-of-age drama. But kids, please do not try this at home.
You're not taking him. Nobody's taking him.
Number 4. Cher Revenge, Moonlight.
I can't be enough for Little. How much you need, Little?
Don't call me that.
All right, Terrell, that's it.
Hey, yo, what you gonna do?
The only way to really deal with a bully is to stand up to them. After the school bully Terrell gets Chirone's best friend Kevin to beat him up, Chirone takes a four-pronged stance with the help of a chair. Chirone walks into class with a sense of purpose, picks up an empty chair, and smashes him over the head with it. Simple, yet effective. What makes this scene so memorable is that it comes completely out of left field, with no warning and no build-up. Number 3. Bar Fight, Kingsman: The Secret Service.
You think you can chat shit about us so we won't do nothing just because our governor's banging Eggsy's mum?
Pretty much.
Manners maketh man. When Eggsy finds himself in trouble with his neighborhood thugs, his new friend and mentor Harry steps in and attempts to teach them this very important lesson. But the thugs persist, and Harry challenges them to a fight.
Manners maketh man.
To their and Eggsy's surprise, he takes out all of them with the most unlikely of weapons, his trusty umbrella. Each new trick that the umbrella possesses, such as its bulletproof quality and stun gun setting, make the fight even more epic. This scene is so epic that the movie calls back to it in a mid-credits scene, where Eggsy gives the exact same thugs a second lesson in manners.
Gonna stand around here all day? Or are we gonna fight?
Number 2. Beaten Biff, Back to the Future.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Think McFly?
The villain of Back to the Future, Biff Tannen seems like a typical bully that comes from a long line of bullies.
Buford Tannen was a notorious gunman whose short temper and a tendency to drool earned him the nickname Mad Dog.
Spending his days threatening others with violence and extorting schoolwork, the only thing that makes him stand out is how entertaining he is at first sight.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Then we watch Biff interact with Lorraine Baines and recognize that he will stop at nothing to get what he wants.
You know you want me to give it to you.
Shut your filthy mouth. I'm not that kind of girl.
Oh, well, maybe you are and you just don't know it yet.
In the other corner, there's the weak and scared George McFly that couldn't hurt, well, the fly. In the end, however, Marty's father turns it all around and knocks Biff out in a single blow. For us, there is almost nothing better.
Are you okay?
Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Cocktail Casualty, Heathers.
Corn nuts.
Damn Draco, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Malfoy, you okay? Let's go! Quick! Let's go!
Run for word to anyone, understood?
That felt good.
Psychic Fight, Matilda.
I will get you like you got me. That is a promise.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, the final fight with Daniel and Johnny, the Karate Kid. To keep Daniel from being relentlessly and continuously beaten up by Johnny Lawrence of Cobra Kai, Mr. Miyagi makes a deal that the two will fight once and for all at the upcoming karate tournament.
No, he wants to learn karate. Well, here's your first lesson, how to take a fall. Hey, don't think about the pain.
Though Mr. Miyagi is a skilled teacher, Daniel is the least experienced student at the tournament, yet fights his way all the way to the finals to face Johnny.
Whoever wins the next point will be our new champion.
Overcoming intimidation tactics and cheap shots, Daniel wins the match with the legendary crane kick. In the end, Johnny is changed by the experience. Daniel doesn't just beat him, he earns his respect.
You're all right, Thanks a lot.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.